Welcome, great gentlemen. Stephen from Arizona, Mega Hennick, Warrior Zen, all the way in Europe, Germany. John Markel from Brooklyn, the Revster, the man that lives in the van down by the river, stayed with me. We've got Christian Henney. We've got Timmy Kramer, the forever bachelor. Best decision, not getting married. JR is back. Wrenching. Good to see everybody. We're going to get into this. We're not going to go through we're going to do some fun things about this. I was reading an article today that was quite interesting. The divorce statistics. What are the divorce statistics? Well, and other things. Highest divorce rate. Anybody know what state in the United States has the highest divorce rate? Nevada, 300. Trebek. The lowest divorce rate, Louisiana. I would have thought California, maybe New York, Chicago would be the highest states, but it's Nevada. No wonder they have marriage chapel drive-thrus. Marriage is a business. Well said, Geron Markel. We're going to get into this real quick. So I've got some interesting things here that I want to discuss, and I think that my mouse might be. Oh, I've got 7% left. Okay. All right, let's get into this real quick. This has said that we won't talk about the exact divorce statistics in terms of the 50%, 73%. Let's talk about this. We always know that third marriages have the highest divorce rate. Upwards of 73%. It's typically higher than that. Stephen said it's probably higher than 50%. I think divorce is probably a 70% divorce rate. First marriages. Bookshelf is back. Nick is in the house all the way from the UK. Marriage is the leading cause of divorce. Yes. Wedding cake for 300 Trebek. 40% of new marriages include a partner who is remarrying. So really, if you think about it, the new marriages that are happening, 40% are second marriages or third marriages. Only 6% of divorced couples remarry each other. I didn't know it was that high. 6% of the people that divorced their ex-wife will remarry them. And not smart. They didn't get the memo, did they? So remarried. Divorcees are more likely to die earlier than married people. I don't know if I believe that one. I think if they're lonely and they're missing a mate, sure. But guys like us that have realized the programming, no, we have great lives. Marriage is a business, and so is church. It has nothing to do with God, but getting its money and tithes. Well said. Common law is GAY. You ain't got no alibi. Results oriented. I'm a statistic. Yep, same with me. Timothy Sokol, all the way from California. I want to get married simply for my faith and belief system, but I know that marriage today isn't exactly biblical. Well said. Yeah, look, we don't recommend it. That's for sure. It's been rough, says Bookshelf. 3 decades, over 30 years of marriage. How have they changed? Are there any Fuddruckers? I remember going to Fuddruckers in high school. Simps might die early. Simping ain't easy. Well said. Lisa Smith is back again. 2 for 2. Good to see you. She's making Kansas City barbecue. I learned all I need to know about marriage from Sam Kinison. It's the face of every married man. I remember that. I know I'd be making a huge mistake. I'm only 24. Well, take your time. My son's 23, so be very careful. Currently moving towards divorce. My future is looking worse than bleak. I'm in so much trouble. I don't know how I'm going to survive. Well, let me know. Shoot me an email. We'll get it through. We'll help you get through it. They probably keep the real statistics hidden. I'm sure you're right, Nick. I'm sure you're right. Smart men don't get married. 100%. Marriage these days might as well put the trigger on oneself. I mean, it definitely is a virtual deletion in many regards. Ever notice when all these female privileges are exhausted, they immediately find Jesus? Sure. Yeah, they go born again Christians. She won't cook me dinner. I won't marry her up. Well said. Okay, so great divorce takes a heavier toll on women's standard of living. And they're going to might have to go from expensive wine to box wine. Women experience a 45% decline in their living standards after a great divorce versus a man. I would think that, yeah, probably, but the man's going to be paying alimony and he loses probably the same, if not more. When less BNs have a high divorce rate, oh, gotcha. You know, men ain't capping about the ladies. Well said. They do have the highest divorce rate, the lesbians. Marriage leads to weight gain. Well said. They have their fun. They go to church and find a good guy. Well, they hide behind the Bible. They hide behind the 10 Commandments, right? But we know what's underneath their thinking. Women are too wrapped up in themselves to care about anyone else for longer than a few months. Well said. Shout out to George in the chat. There you go. Born again virgins. There you go. Timothy gives some good advice. If you don't want intimacy, get married. If you want to stop having it. Number one question, name benefit a man gets from getting married than just having a casual situationship. There's not very many that man can't do today. Man can cook their own food, clean their own house, wash their own clothes, take care of themselves. There you go, born again virgin. Smart men don't get married. And as Tom Likas says, or excuse me, Benson says, don't get married. Yeah, we gained weight, Mysterio, from Winnipeg. Good to see you, brother. Definitely. 30 pounds is what I gained. I don't see why marriage is seen as winning in society. I wish emotions and fantasy didn't trump reality. Well said, Warriors. And men they love the idea. They love the fantasy. They have the curiosity of living with a woman and soon find out that it's not what their fantasy is. And they have to take the reality pill. But most men in marriage don't take the reality pill. They continue with the fantasy. Oh, it'll get better. It'll get better. Once the kids grow up. Once she's, settled down. No, it doesn't get better. 85% of breakups and divorce are initiated by females. Yes, they are. That is one of the few complaints with modern church. They really lift single moms up to high end. Oh, yeah, they praise them. Rebel against defeat at gmail.com. One word. Rebel against defeat. Somebody could put that up for me. It'd be great. Poor people marry for love. Correct? Love. When she has the 1K smash and pash, no what from that beat up roast beef. A lot of women have used the JJs a lot after divorce. The majority of divorcees own their own home. Couples who live together before marriage are more likely to divorce. Yeah, every couple that I know that live together for months or years, they get married, and then 4 months later they're divorced. Everyone I've known. I guess marriage really does not work long term. I am not kidding. I see most of my family and friends breaking up. Yeah, I think Mysterio expiration dates or something. All relationships expire. If you can get past 2 years single, you're home and dry. There you go. John Mark Carroll says the simp economy is collapsing. Yeah, they're not making enough money to keep these OnlyFans in business, right? That maybe Tom Brady's in the chat. He could be. I always wonder that if very high level people view these channels. Shinobi's in the house. Good to see our Kiwi. Hope you're doing well, brother. Check No Role Models by J. Cole. I'll check it. 70% of women state they marry for financial security, not love. Well said. Sotnar is back. Good to see you, brother. Okay, having friends who are divorced increases your risk of divorce. We know that. Women, especially, their friends have a 75% high rate of thinking about divorce if one of their friends gets divorced. And 30% of friends of a friend. Oh, I heard, Jane, she's friends with Sue, she's getting divorced. Women begin to think, maybe I should get divorced too. Out of 100 plus couples I've known, I can honestly think of 2 or 3 that are still together. I would say half of them are my friends that are married or together. What happened to falling in love with a blank, with the bus pass, just because you love the blank? There you go. They don't love. NWA had the I ain't the one. Subway will be hiring. Well said, Kevin Samuels. Most common reasons for divorce. Lack of commitment is the most common reason. 60% of divorced couples also cited infidelity as reason number 2. Domestic abuse. Prompts a divorce in 24% of cases. Interesting. I would think it'd be higher than that. Domestic abuse, and that could be emotional abuse, mental abuse, things like that. Lots of virtual signatures. Well said. Communication issues. Well said. Absolutely. 24% of domestic abuse prompts a divorce. Basic incompatibility and money issues are also among the top 3. Well, that's no surprise. What's up, my nigga? In a culture devoted to the destruction of tradition, it's no wonder why we live in a falling civilization. We can still look back and see the ruins of the last empire, yet we think ours will last. Well said, Shinomi. Well said. The biggest benefit of being single is no stress. Cortisol is a killer. They say that heart attacks are one of the number 1 killers in this world, but I think it's cortisol. You're absolutely right. 40% of all married men are raising children that are not theirs. That is a travesty. That doesn't happen in the animal kingdom. They kill the offspring of those they want to mate with. Teddy Boy Smith from the UK, good to see you. 58% of couples report arguing and excessive conflict. 45% of divorcing couples indicate they married too young. 38% report financial problems as a divorce cause. And the final straw is most common: infidelity, domestic violence, or substance abuse. Substance abuse makes sense. Makes sense. Greg Adams always plays that. What's up, nigga? What's up for the weekend? Walk away from soy society, females in marriage, separating ourselves from a world that hates us, but at the same time need us. Well said, Jerron Markel. Mysterio, no big deal for Rad to say the N-word on Black. I mean, I really don't have a problem. I don't say it, but I can see how it's offensive, but we'll leave it at that. I don't have a problem when they call me a cracker. I'm like, saltine? Saltine cracker. 66% of men and 74% of women think their partner should have worked harder to save the marriage. Now, that's a very interesting statistic. 74% say men should have worked harder, and 66% of men say that women should have worked harder. So men are taking more responsibility, right? Makes sense? Lisa Smith says, very true about female divorcees. They mock women who are in a relationship. I've heard it all from them, and that's why I avoid them. Yes. My ex worked with a bunch of divorced nurses, Lisa, and they all talked about how it was great. Well, let them, and yeah, it's hive mind. Over 70% of couples report not understanding the true reality and the stages of marriage. Oh, you mean the fantasy doesn't live forever? Romantic love and all of the yummy chemicals don't last forever? Interesting. Singletown bachelor buddy over in Europe. No wife is a great life. Good to see you, brother. I got to check my white privilege. I didn't choose to be born. Did I? I was hatched. My mother seems to go against anything I say. If I say left, she says right. If I say up, she says down. Female nature. I love it when Singletown says that. Kick the like button, you bigots. It's like when Wes says, P Squat, listen up, men, women, and simps worldwide. We're educated from a young age towards what the elite want, men in marriage paying for women. Correct. Attention is definitely her currency. Teddy Boy, pureblood MGTOW monk, I'm ungovernable. Yes. You are that's what they fear. Strong, independent men. It's absolutely insane how they want men to just accept used up, ran through women. And the fact that we don't want them, how dare them? By and large, women today have become more masculine than ever before. Internet and cell phones and sex in the city are to blame. Well said, brother Timmy. T-Tox is back. I gave up the so-called sanctity of marriage when I got kicked squarely in the balls. I think a lot of us did. Jawara, good to see you. Listen to all others all day long. I bet they'll feel nice in your deathbed. Only you can control that last bed you lay in. Follow the foul plots of those, not yourself, and you'll sleep in a ditch. Listen to those that have been through the grinder. I tend to be focused on logic and reason. You can throw that out the window with females. It's just not in them to think that way. Most of them are like that. I have no sympathy for unrepentant simplets. Brad, you and your mother are more or less the same mindset. Now, my mother is very anti-modern day female, but she's still a female. More men than ever are getting nothing in the dating market. Oh yeah, men are just checking out. They've realized it's worse than a casino. I'm not paying for a strag for her welfare. No way, says Single Town. Well said. Starting my expensive hair restoration. Oh, crazy. I would like to see that when you're done. They want men to sacrifice for the system, females, and if you don't, they will shame you, insult you, and gaslight you. They sure will. They don't like people leaving the programming. Travel far, and when you come home, live in a van outside the system. That's the plan. That's the plan. Off the grid. I think we have happiness backwards. It isn't looking to external to teach the internal. It's understanding our internal. Absolutely, 100%. All things are internal. Anything on the external does not bring happiness. It definitely has killed the dating market. Good to see JW is back. Hope you are well. Hihachi is bald. He's the man. Carl is back. Waiting on my passport renewal and taking a trip to SD to get my residency and lower taxes. My family has basically disowned me. Oh, you're going to South Dakota. Awesome, brother. Yeah, that's a great state to even register your car, and you don't even have to go through an inspection. You just send them the money. They send you the tags. Women want a lot of things. To quote another, give them nothing. My passport renewal took about 6 weeks, which that's 7 weeks. Okay. So we talked about Nevada having the highest divorce rate, Louisiana the lowest. The country with the highest divorce rate is what? Is Maldives. Interesting. The country with the lowest divorce rate in the world is Sri Lanka. Maldives being the highest, Sri Lanka being the lowest. They don't like men leaving the programming for nothing, but nothing lasts forever except for Bitcoin. Ones and zeros. If you pay taxes, you have the right to call bastards. I pay for your chicken nuggies and chocolate milk. Crumb crunchers. Once an average girl is banged Chad, she thinks she's a 10. Well said, even the fatties. May as well date a girl who doesn't use social media. If you can find one, she might be a unicorn, Faith. Mama Elbag died at age 90. It was thoroughly disgusted with feminism. So is my mom, just can't stand them. Trekking through van life in rural areas, that's the life for me. Megatron. Yeah, I mean, experience. Gold over the last 10 years doubled in value. I bought gold at $700 an ounce, 2007. Still got it. $2,400 today. Men worldwide have woken up to female nature. Better late than never. Well said, Nick. Ghost Shura is in the house. Good to see you, brother. Mayor Bodybuilding is back. Would love to know the misery mate among couples married over 20 years. I'm going to say it's in the high 90s, brother. Who can have sex easier, men or women, until what age for both? I say women from 18 to 50. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that would make sense. Men can go forever, right? As long as their wiener works. Divorce rates by occupation. Oh, hold on. There's only 2 places in the world where divorce is illegal. Philippines and the Vatican City. You marry in the Philippines, you cannot get divorced. Gold's going to be up to probably 3,000, Shinobi. This girl's turning to a bunch of zombie knuckle draggers. Yep. My only anchor is my 3.5-year-old lab. Great dog, well trained. I need to find a good family that can provide her a good life. It's a problem with animals. If you want to travel, it's difficult, especially if you fly overseas. Gaming managers and bartenders have the highest divorce rates. So casino managers, and we knew bartenders. I mean, geez, that makes complete sense. When you had 357, you talked about a fatty. Yes. There's a lady upstairs who was banging 300-pound. She was a 300-pounder that was banging all types of dudes. Black guys, athletes, white guys, Hispanic guys, Chads. It's crazy. And she thought she was a 10. They all want Chad to bone them, don't they, Teddy Boy Smith? It'd be interesting. I mean, I've heard people like Martin Armstrong say gold could go to 5,000 an ounce. We don't know. I think gold is still... I think the markets are still controlled with gold. Adultery, you get in jail. Interesting. In the Philippines, says Nick. Okay. Here are occupations with the lowest divorce rates: physical scientists, medical scientists, clergy, software developers, physical therapists, optometrists, chemical engineers, physicians, and surgeons. I don't know about if they're an ER surgeon. Those guys have high divorce rates. I lasted 23 years. I feel like I was released from prison. I know guys who will leave this life in misery. 23 years. I was almost 20 years, Mayor. Gorlock, the world eater. Oh, that it is disgusting. Big Vegas is back. Good to see you. My only goal is peace, quiet, and freedom. Me too. Me too, brother. Good to see you. I would love the Rad Gang here to state what they think female and male nature is in a nutshell. I will chime in later. Accountability for male nature, non-accountability for female nature. Females respect men that don't respect them. That is absolutely true. They don't like nice guys. Jordan Peterson, if you like him or not, did a great thing. Nice guys are agreeable, and agreeable is a weakness. Industries with the lowest divorce rates: architecture and engineering, computers, military. I don't know why military's there. That's healthcare. Lots of nurses. I'm not going to go with that. Okay, divorce rates by income. This will be interesting. Nurses and cocktail waitresses and teachers. Teachers. The 300-pound woman that was banging guys, what was her face? She didn't have that ugly of a face. She had a nice voice. But man, and she had big mommy bags. Just too big. The divorce rate steadily decreases from 40% to 30% as income increases. Interesting. The rate of divorce does not decline again until the household income reaches $600,000, at which point it drops closer to 25%. However, once income exceeds $600,000, the divorce rate again climbs back up to 30%. Interesting statistic on that matter. Beware of women on dating apps who seek an open marriage, who openly seek marriage. They are wanting a wallet, aren't they, Timmy? Females get special privileges and males get special punishments. Facts. Chad, Brad, and Shad are racking up all their standards. I suggest you make a plan, remember who you are, and do your very best to control your ending. Good advice, Shinobi. Pre-2000, a lot of marriages lasted 20 plus years afterwards. Yes, and which gets me to the next one. The average length of a marriage is just under 8 years. Okay. Divorce rates are higher among couples below the poverty line. Higher among couples below the poverty line. Divorce rates are similar among men and women not in the labor force. Divorce rates by age. The average age of people divorced in 2022 is 46 for men and 44 for women. That's not inaccurate, because I was 43. You can't find a property, get a van, or just rent. I don't know if I'd buy right now. Why is everyone online saying the hot Tua girl is hot? I don't think she's very attractive. I wish that would just end, Joara. It's so dumb. I can't stand big knocker. I mean, they were so huge, Jerron Markel, that it was just like sloppy Tuesday. The median age of a first marriage is increasing. 30 years and a half for men and 28 and a half for women, up from 27 years old for a woman and 29. So it's going up about a year and a half. There you go. If you can't buy a car, just buy armor. I wish my marriage only lasted 8. I could have saved 12 years of my marriage. Good to see Otto. The divorce rates of baby boomers is increasing. Adults ages 55 to 64, a 46% divorce rate. Adults age 65 to 74, 39%. And adults age 75 or older, which would be my parents' generation, are divorcing at 24%. Interesting. This says 69% of divorces are initiated by women, but we know it's 80%. The government has made that statistic available to us. In 2021, the divorce rate for women was 6.9 per 1,000 women over the age of 15. I don't know if that statistic sounds right. Oh, marriage rates by ethnicity. Marriage rates by ethnicity for 300 Trebek. Why does the man get married? They have the internet now. I don't know. The fantasy, the curiosity, the idea of being in a romantic, full-on intimate relationship. Yeah, right. Should I pack up and go across country to a cheaper area? Sure. Live with peace, quiet, and freedom, which is a lower, you don't need a lot to live on. All of the masculinity and success will never supersede hypergamy. Well said. That's a built-in programming system. The divorce rate for white couples is 15.1%. The marriage rate among these couples is 32%. The divorce rate for black couples, 31%. And the marriage rate is 17%. Interesting. Almost flip-flop. Latino couples have a divorce rate of 18%. I think it'd be less, but anyway, and the marriage rate is 33%. Asian Americans have the highest percentage of marriage with 65% married. Good to see Arvera. 65% of Asians are married, and they have the lowest divorce rate at 4%. Well, they also come from very, very structured families, and they respect their elders, and they have family is important to all of them. Just started following a guy who moved to Chiang Mai after divorce. He has roughly 400 grand in his 52 invested dividend, $2,000 a month. There you go, brother. You don't need a lot. You can live off 500 grand. You got to know where to live, and you got to make sure that's giving you a decent investment. Sucker brothers can't get free public defenders to fight an ex. A brother's paying 10 grand this week to start a defense against a woman wanting more money. No surprise, Joar. An Asian woman might be the way to go. Maybe. If I think my 5 close friends all got married or have long-term relationship, only one couple is still together 13 and a half years later, and they aren't married. 2 sets got divorced in the last year. Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. At the 8-year mark, Rad, was your marriage on shaky? Yes. It was probably on shaky ground. Well, we had kids, so, the dynamic changed just because we became father and mother. But it was still difficult. As Wes used to say, men get married under the illusion that will stop men from basically cock blocking any other dudes, right? The black female is the least demographic for relationships and marriage. It's been like that over a decade. Look at Latina, Asian, and white. Interracial divorce. Let's see. We'll check it out. I wonder if there's statistics on here. Good to see the legendary John Boston in the chat. So 65% of Asians are married. Nearly 39% of the American Indian or Alaska Native population is currently married. And 13% are divorced. Again, their heritage, Native American heritage. Divorce rates by education level, we know that. Women with degrees divorce, they're at 90%. I was dedicated, reliable, and loyal as ever, made no damn difference when boredom and hypergamy kicked in. Absolutely. I stay away from the courts as much as possible. No reason to lose money so quickly for no reason. Said bookshelf, stay away from court. Lawyers' fees are utterly insane now. Oh, yeah. Brad, if we had cell phones like we have today back in 97, we both wouldn't have gotten married. No, we would not have. Well said, John. When I was younger, lots of guys told me, don't get married. I know why they said that. So we know the college education women, I can get into it, but let's just say this. Uneducated women have less divorce rates than educated women, right? Divorce rates by religion. 60% of the Hindu population is married. Just 5% of its members are divorced. Evangelicals and Protestants divorce at a higher rate than any other religious group. Interesting. I would think evangelicals would have a lower divorce rate. People without a religion have a divorce population of 11%. Mike P. He basically tried to warn the world about technology and how technology would destroy society and humanity. He was absolutely right, but he went nuts. Divorce with children. In 2023, about 5.8% of children under 18 lived with only their mother after divorce. And 1.6 lived with their father. Yeah, to 80%. Having more children does not increase the risk of divorce. The good news for parents who want large families that more kids do not increase it. I could probably go with that. Mike P says he's a Buddhist. Attaboy. Good to see Bill. MGTOW monk now rules my life. Attaboy. Peace, quiet, and freedom for 300 Trebek. As a Protestant, that's unfortunate to hear. Now, we don't know how accurate these are. I mean, they could be sampling from different areas. They are tired of working because they don't want to work. Lazies. Cooking some enchiladas tonight. I had some Chipotle for lunch. Mexican. Divorce settlements. The most expensive divorce was Bill and Melinda Gates, $76 billion. 20% of married couples report signing a prenup. 50% of U.S. adults said they at least somewhat supported the use of prenups, although about only 1 in 5 married couples has a prenuptial agreement. I am a meat eater because my teeth have fangs. Uncle Bill took me aside one day and over beers explained to me the reasons to never marry. Uncle Bill for 300 Trebek. What a great uncle. Women are able to flick a switch and go stone cold in an instant. Men don't have that switch so much. You must be eating kosher beef, Mike. I was in Home Depot over the weekend. Where are all the shoppers? MGTOW was the best decision ever. I just look at the girls, don't touch them. Imagine how good life feels inside, but nothing more. Liability and expense for 300. Not a lot of disposable income. You're absolutely right for these men and women. I have seen that men are afraid to be honest with their girlfriends, not loud or rude, just honest. Well said. Great advice from Bill, from Uncle Bill. We should actually make that like an episode list. Over 2 in 5 Gen Z and millennials, 41% of Gen Z and millennials, 47% who are engaged or have been married said they entered a prenup. Interesting. So those are just some of the marriage statistics that we kind of knew, some we didn't know, or some that seemed very interesting. 2 countries where it's illegal, Philippines and Sri Lanka. The highest divorce rate, Nevada. Makes sense now if you think about it. The lowest, Louisiana. Auburn University for 300 Trebek in Louisiana. We're seeing more and more divorces. I would love to see now how many men have checked out of the dating market. I don't know if they could even run true statistics on that. It was a real fork in the road for me not to find out that men are more caring and empathetic than women in general. Women are just emotional. They sure are. Our brains are different. Women are more emotional. Men are less emotional. Men are more accountable. Women are less accountable. And there's an exception to every rule, and that's 98% of women, 1 to 2% would be accountable, would be respectful, and so forth. I don't believe it's 100%. That's just my opinion. Right? A dog is an unconditional love that men need. Lots of gentlemen have dogs. They enjoy that. It's enough men to be noticeable. Yes. Shinobi says predicting a population decline, cultural collapses, and endless future wars. That's what's happening. It's weakening by the day. But women are also not dating as much. Well, there are high expectations, high standards, unrealistic expectation. Priced out of the dating market, says Otto. Well, you got to send them $200 before you go on a date so they can do their nails. My buddy Kurt, who I played football with in 2000, with the day of his divorce proceedings at court, he went out to the desert with a gallon of gasoline and did the unthinkable. I'll never forget him. You know, and you hear about those things. 4 of my guys I've known, friends of mine, have deleted themselves. He's probably living in Vietnam. We need to start having 10 kids per marriage again. That might keep women in line. Was talking to this woman I know in passing. She wants to put wood floors in. We were talking. She takes her phone and says, I need your number. You know so much. I'm thinking slow Tuesday chick. Was she decent looking? Brad, we have to look at the breakup rates, non-marriage versus divorce rate as well. We can only really track divorce rates. I would say breakup rates might be less just because there's no carrot. Do you realize, or they didn't get the carrot as in marriage? Do you realize that America can't pay back its taxes? I mean, interest. The media is completely living this info out. We are in 100% inflation. Absolutely. We can't even pay the interest on the tax proceeds. I agree. I saw Bank of America said we're going to avoid a recession. What a bunch of jackoffs. By 10 kids, are you really looking around for another marriage? No. You have no energy. You're getting all those crumb crunchers ready for school. They're just their expectations, Faith McDowell, just too high. They don't give anybody a chance, really. I told a woman that you need to find a man who has like $5 million in the bank. She said, oh, that would be great. Never talk to her again. American can pay its debts off when it wins the war. That's why they love the military-industrial complex is a real thing, man. War makes people money. They only date the devil chads and the 1%ers of single town. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah, you got to look at a dating app as like an entertainment center on your phone, like Candy Crush. She was okay looking, single mom, and she supports trying. It might be a slow Tuesday. Greg Adams said he had a gal that showed her statistics on her dating app. 10,000 swipes. She liked 1,800 of them and ended up talking to 18. 18 out of 10,000. So there are your statistics. Is that 1%? No, that's not even 1%. It's like 0.1%. Marriage was instigated to control the men. It's only a few hundred years old. Lifespans were a lot less. Bank of America is misguiding. I'm at the point where if she wants me, she's going to have to pay me to see her, buy me some cheesesteak burritos. She can't do that. Bye-bye. Soft guy era now. Well said, Jerron. My simp friend married a blue-haired tattooed Satan worshiping 304. Now of course, Kevin, good to see you. Absolutely. Women will stop at nothing. 98% are not recommended. Failing the war will mean internal revolution and hostile debt collection. That's why being independent and off the grid will have its advantages. Where do I go to have 10 children today? You'd have to go to probably an Islamic or a Muslim type pop. Maybe, yeah, I think those are the only, and maybe Latino. Swipes for women on a dating site is like getting the new modern football game for your Xbox for young guys. There you go. The grizzle with the grizzly bear. I'd rather date a bear because they're not thirsty and toxic like the modern day man. He's mean. Please. But that's the reality, guys. Don't get married. The odds are not in your favor. The dopamine wears off. Relationships expire. Every single relationship expires. Even blood-related relationships. You might have to leave a toxic relationship with your parents or a brother or sister or a child. Gone with John is in the chat. Good to see our brother Jizzle. Gone with John for 300 Trebek. Good to see you, brother. As a 58-year-old doctor friend of mine married a 59-year-old single mom trophy wife. They go up that age in trophies. I had no idea. Well said, brother. Just live independent, live minimalistically. I'd rather date a bear. They're not scary like men. Mm-hmm. Take a bear banana, and they'll eat the banana, and then they'll eat you. I'm going to die if I have 10 children. Why do I care how long I live after that? There you go. Did you guys see all the spoof JP Spears did on the videos? I did, man. That guy's funny as hell. He who has ears, let him hear. Good to see Polo 30 back in the chat. I promise I won't eat you. I'm just a bear. Europe's back. Good to see you, brother. Hope you are well. 58 years old and single mom, and that's a trophy wife. They're definitely expanding the definition and the stages of trophy wives. They go up to 60 now. Wow, I had no idea. Please! Here in Denmark, 90% of our electrical bill is taxes. It's all those windmills out there, huh? You see the women coming out and saying they are single cat ladies and they are voting for the chameleon. Yep. Just because she has a vagina, that's why. Marriage means she wants a 2-in-1 man, an ATM and a beta male. Yes, they do. There's a Netflix did that series, Sex Life, which you guys should watch. 2 seasons. It's all about that. Unfortunately, they can't have both. You can't be a jerk and be nice at the same time. You just look. People get tired of one another. Even being around my kids all day, you need your breaks. You can't. Things just. If you really look at marriage in the grand scheme of things, it's not a good experiment. You get tired of each other. You see each other's at the worst. It's I don't know how you get back from that. 58-year-old trophy wife for 300 Trebek. Their drones, there's something about them. They're whacked out, Faith. They absolutely right. Street life. There you go. There you go. I got it, Shinobi. Trump back on X tonight. Yep, I'm interested in that interview. 50% of our electrical grid is wind farms. Of course. Until they put a windmill on my car, I will resort to petroleum. Freedom is better than Needham. Gregory the Red Pill Guru for 300 Trebek. Yeah, I'm interested to watch that. Never date a single mother. The failure rate is 99%. The only time I've seen a relationship work with a single mother is when her kids are grown up and out of the house. And a lot of times that doesn't work because I got a buddy whose dad married a single mom with all grown kids, very wealthy man. And now her kids, after 3 years, want all this money. But you're right. That probably has the higher percentage of possibility. But they set them up where other people live. There you go. God, they're so ugly looking too. Does sex last forever if a couple really want? That's a great question. I mean, could you drink vanilla or could you eat vanilla ice cream every day for the rest of your life without adding anything to it? Potato Joe can. I mean, it would all depend. I mean, a lot of factors. It's a great question. Elon doing a good job of trolling our UK Prime Minister? Yes. Yes, he does. Ishi's back. If the owner of this hospital said they can't wear figs anymore, guess what? They do. If the husband wants a little meal, I'm not your slave. Cook it yourself. Good to see Ishi down in California. Muck is the most prudent way to live your life, says Gregory. He didn't follow his own advice. Marvel Elite. A lot of blue pill men are falling apart and struggling with depression due to the loneliness, but they refuse to accept this valuable information. You can't save everyone. Isn't that true, Marvel? Good to see you, brother. I can't do marriage or just relationship because of seeing that person all the time. Be ready to delete. I just think people get tired of each other. So you look at people that hang out, and even in my own cases, it's fun in the beginning, and then it just kind of takes its course. And it's not the person, it's just, I think, reality. Come on, 48 people in here and 29 likes. It's all right. It's all right. We got the good guys in here. I told some libtards I know who live on Martha's Vineyard, when you vote for Kamala, remember in 84, Mondale won on Martha's Vineyard, but only got 13 electoral votes. Mondale. What a wacko. I couldn't eat burritos for 6 months. Well, yeah. There you go. Pistachio ice cream for 300 Trebek, says Singletown. Was at a mall in Virginia. 90% of families were Mexican, Middle Eastern. There you go. Mayor of bodybuilding. If you got together just because of sex, then why would it last if the lust dries up? Yeah, it dries up. The chemicals wear out. If you're going to marry a much younger woman so your sex drives lines up, says Gregory. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you marry a virgin or a single mother. Marriage got no benefits. She will drain you physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially, and will take your house and kids away. I'm a believer. At this point now, I think monogamy is really friggin' stupid. I just think it doesn't work for the majority of people. Well said, Europe. Well said, brother. But marriage is supposed to be death till us part. At one point, I think hundreds of years ago, let's just say 100 years ago, yeah, that was the deal. But then they made divorce really simple, and you could just check out whenever you wanted to. Being monk or monk adjacent is empowering. I never feel sad, lonely, or depressed. I am always focused on goals. These blue pill simps are getting smoked by reality. Well said, Stephen. It's being by yourself has wonderful advantages. You can choose what you want to eat, choose what you want to wear, choose where you want to go, not have to deal with trying to make somebody happy. If a man has money, do you see him with an old woman? No. Leonardo DiCaprio for 300, Trebek. Camel Toe is making a mockery of these dumb blacks by acting black. I'm going to make some collard greens and chitlings. But didn't she say 2024? She even said she's an Indian American. How come people can't wake up and see that? Okay, she has a Jamaican dad who apparently he didn't like her. He basically said she was lazy too. She never passed the bar exam. Dating, relations, or marriage is an art. Not all of us can create masterworks. 1% to 2% can make it. That's about it. In Arab countries, men are allowed to marry up to 3 women, and women tend to be more submissive. Kevin S. Well said, brother. Sign a contract with an attorney and hand over a marriage certificate, and it's all over for the family. That is how it all starts. That little 3x5 license you signed with the priest. Yep. Ends the days. Yep. 100%, John. Love being alone. I'm content with myself. It also breeds interest, creativity. Couples will need to have space from each other in order to make it long term. Yes, I agree. I think they should sleep in separate rooms, have separate lives if they're married, and want to see one another. They miss being around each other. So when they're around each other, they like to hang out. Jonathan Noble's way. The clever men back in the day were bachelors. They were shamed, and we know why now. He had 29,000 subs, Jawar, and then he abandoned and went back to the plantation. A nurse has said she loves the cold because she doesn't have to shave her legs and wear sweats. I was like, what about impressing your husband? She probably wears Crocs. They need to pass a law where women cannot go to town hall and get marriage certificate and hand it over to an attorney without the man releasing it. And that would be interesting. Man sometimes won't appreciate solo single life till he loses it. Yeah, well said, brother. No idea. I think she took it, but she didn't pass it. She didn't pass the bar. I'll have to go to bed. Stay firm, brother. You too. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Yeah. If you eat a burrito every day, you don't miss it. If they had a law on marriage certificates, then they couldn't throw men out of homes and start a hostile divorce. They love to get the man out, don't they? In Arab countries, the women are the biggest gold diggers. They act submissive to get your resources. I was married twice to an Arab woman. Female nature is worldwide. Interesting. Apparently, they wear very expensive Gucci and Prada and all that crap. How come in the movies they never have Bond married to anyone? I wonder why. Human beings are the only species in the animal kingdom that practice monogamy. Men are not only getting married, they're getting out of the labor market as well, and out of education. Well said, Nick. SCE, my master wrench, is in the house. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. The reality is this. The odds of your marriage lasting are very slim to none. The odds of your relationship having full metal intimacy from day one to the end of the days is slim to none. And you being happy and not having contention is slim to none. Why divorce is so high? Modern man will let the dust settle. Modern women will keep it in suspension. Attaboy. Arvero. Traditional Arab culture is very strict, but modern Western Arab culture is debaucherous. They are suffering from feminism. Also, middle and upper class Arabs are debaucherous. Interesting. In the heart without women, the sword becomes divine. Shinobi. Philosophy. They never pass laws against a female leverage because it interferes with the cash flow. Of course. Lisa, this vacation my husband and I is good for both of us. That cliche about absence is true. I think one of the reasons my marriage also took a turn for the worse is I worked out of the house. So we saw each other all the time. And, when you're around each other all the time, you get irritated with one another. Let's be real. You get irritated. Well said, Lisa. Well, I'm glad you are missing your husband. He's probably missing you too. EU is threatening Elon and Trump. F them. It's okay for CNN. Calming MSDNC to lie all day long. We are fighting such evil people. Oh, the press, the media is horrible. Marriage means if she is not feeling good, her emotions can lead to the decision that she wants a divorce. Please! And you will be homeless, and women can destroy your life in seconds. They sure can. Blaster is in the house. Good to see you, brother. I lived through one marriage, bait and switch, dead bedroom, divorce, great theft of my home, children, and money was my reward. Never again. It's all risk, zero reward. I think Blaster just summed it up right there. Why you don't do it. Good to see you. It's slim to none with a man in marriage. If you're 60,000 foot in the air and your parachute has a 50% chance, would you jump out of the plane? A lot of simps would. Once you put that ring on her finger, you're on the way downwards. Well, once men get on their knees, Christian's in the house. Good to see you, Christian. Once men get on their knees, they're now submissive to the woman. She has all control. All planned that way. Timmy Kramer is 100% right. November is going to be a very interesting time to be alive. Let's just say that. You're going to have wackos. I'm going to say, I want a divorce because he's abusive and controlling. Please! That's actually from Phil Hartman. Stress, anxiety, and depression are caused when we are living to please others. Yes. It's all part of the plan. Well said, Christian. Europe, after the marriage, she knows daddy government will support her. It's transparent. X is the only free speech left, the establishment. Did anybody see the interview with Don Lemonade? That guy's the dumbest man in journalism. And Elon smoked him. Men get married hoping she will never change. And I'm going to agree with that statement, Lisa Smith. What a pathetic disgrace to the administration. Yeah, we hope she'll never change. We really do. We hope that it lasts forever. It's a fantasy. It's a curiosity. It's a thirst. It's an idea. It's propaganda. Can you imagine someone today with a college-educated woman who has an 80% chance that parachute not opening? That's basically what it is. Simps are not just males, beta, they are female. Yeah, they're feminine, that's for sure. Simps always wanting to bite in a girl's panties. Guys, cackles, tampon are Bernie Sanders socialist part of our revolution. Squad members lost. I just saw that. We can get the rest of them out. The man builds his own house. The only thing a woman must do to take his house is to spread. Would it be easier to be a woman in today's world? They'd have lines of simps. Back in the day, 100 years ago, 80 years ago, women, they worked all day. They cooked the food. They had to what's the word? Iron the clothes and heat the stove up with wood and go all through that. It was a 12, 14 hours. They didn't have time to gossip. Heels up, giggles too much for me. She's ridiculous. Trust me, folks, a woman's test is her accountability. Well said. Brad, from watching you for 4 years and absorbing other content, LTRs, married or not, basically have expiration dates. So all LTRs, unless you want kids, should be looked at as recreational activity. I think that's a good way to look at it. I think you should enjoy the person and just realize it's not going to last. We're human beings. We desire to get more experience, more things, more opportunities. It's difficult to bring people with you. And that took me a long time to understand. Some men are born to be simps. Some men just can't get out of the simp kingdom. I wouldn't be surprised in the least. Things are getting worse and worse. In 10 years, there will be so many middle-aged cat ladies buy cat food in stock. What's that one fun, John? It's PAWZ, P-A-W-Z. What's the percentage that it's gone up in the last 5 years? Women had to be useful in the past or they would be replaced. Absolutely. They had to do a lot of stuff. They didn't have time. The man was out plowing the fields. You know, he was an iron worker. He was a blacksmith. The woman was behind the kitchen. They didn't have sinks back in those days. She was cutting board, cutting the bread that she just made by hand. Marriage is subservience, a man to the woman and the government. David Smith, good to see you, brother. You're 100% correct. Yep, I agree with that. I won't read it because you don't know what the overlords are thinking. Love doesn't exist between men and women. She is only thinking about one thing. How much money and materialistic things can I get from him? As long as I married him, she is only using men. 98% are not recommended. Let's look at this angle. Who's getting divorced more, men and women with kids or without? And what do you think it is? I think women with kids are getting divorced. The American housewife really only lasted 10 to 20 years. From the 50s to the 70s, it was a very short era. And the divorce era has lasted much longer. Well said, Stephen. 45% of women are projected to be single, according to that Forbes article, Kevin. You're absolutely right. Can they make a sandwich? What is this? That's turkey. What is that? What is that? Although in past times, women would have their mom and grandma to teach and help her. Yeah, I mean, the family unit was so important. The respect was there for the elder members of the family, the parents, the grandparents, the great-grandparents. The youngsters got out of line. They got, put back in line. And that's probably why Asians have the highest marriage and the lowest divorce rates. Before she wants marriage with you, she got a strategy to destroy you. You're sleeping with your enemy in your own bed. I didn't know my wife till the day she divorced me. I believe love comes from necessity. Unless both people need each other, they can never truly love each other. If their friends are divorced, you can bet you'll be next. Absolutely. Forget cooking and cleaning. I haven't heard any of these thought pockets say submissive, or I'll get on my knees and all fours. Yeah, that was, he's absolutely right, And then the simp gets on his knees because he doesn't get intimacy or he wants the girl. And so he says, please. Men don't ask for much. We don't. We're very simple creatures. We really are. Feed our belly, take care of us on, below the buckle, right? Allow access when we want, and don't talk too much. And you get everything you want. At least that's what I think a wife should do. Esther Villar's thoughts on coded language are great. I love him. He is a good worker. Well said, Wes. You're absolutely right, brother. Having family is a joke. Well, today, especially in the West, it's disposable. Families, kids, disposable. Kids are killing themselves and becoming massively depressed because of the divorce of their parents. Just watched a movie called The Son with Hugh Jackman and Laura Dern about that. They got divorced and what it did to the kid. Very depressing movie. If anyone's seen it, The Son, S-O-N. I know this has changed when I was teaching my grandparents how to use tech, and they stopped teaching me how to wield an axe. Well said. That's what you should seek in a wife. Feed us, strain our balls, and shut the F up. Basically, yeah. A mountain monk said, even your own shadow leaves you in darkness. There you go. Exclusivity and loyalty are important as well, but good luck finding any of that. Well said, David Smith. Please don't leave me, please. When she lives alone, she cooks and cleans for herself. But when she lives with a man, she is not cleaning and cooking. Then it's claved slavery. Nope. Don't know anything about her. Don't care. Monks took women's banging chip away. There you go. Brad being single for almost 10 years versus being attached for 20 years, which was better before divorce was imminent. There was some positive things about, especially with kids, but now I'm much more relieved. I think if I would have been married, I would look a lot older. I think just looking young, just feeling younger, looking younger is a testament to being out of a marriage. I was heavy. I didn't look. I was unhappy. I feel like I looked a lot older. Didn't have specific glow. I mean, there's times I get upset about things, but you know, it is what it is. Modern women want to be submissive to the bear. Grizzle, grizzle. Well, that's the reality. Guys, it's been a great live stream. Look, the reality is marriage is not recommended. Whether you get divorced physically, you're divorced typically mentally and emotionally and virtually, right? It just doesn't work. It's unfortunate, but majority of marriages will not last. We think 20-year-old hotties are delusional. Imagine the level of delusion of the 60-year-old woman divorcing her husband because she knows her worth. Delusion for 300 Trebek. Be careful who you trust. Salt and sugar look the same. Ooh, Jawara laying it down in Chinatown. I love that one. MGTOW Life. Great guy. Rest in peace to Richard. Wonderful man. Passed away in December. Wonderful man, MGTOW Life. So we'll just cut it off here in a second, folks. Single moms, you are free. No nagging and complaining anymore in a marriage. She will destroy your mental health no matter what you do. It's, well, a lot of mental health guys it decreases when they're married or in relationship. Quiet desperation. MGTOW for life, said Ron. Shinobi says, let's face it. If a loyal wife and family was 100% future fate for us, is most desirable. If. Mouth of Gapes in the chat. Good to see you. He's on the carnivore diet. But that's reality, man. It's just not recommended. It's just everything's against you. There are men that have the curiosity and the desire, and they have the idea in their mind, the fantasy of what it'd be like to be married, thinking sex at all access to her body at any time. She respects him and takes care of him and appreciates him, which, you know, there are women out there, 1% to 2%. But the majority of women are not like that. They will get bored. They'll exercise their female nature and hypergamy, and one must understand that. We accept it. We accept female nature. We do not hate it. We accept it. We understand it. And then we live our life accordingly. Anyone having information on Element, he was active for like 2 years, about 4 to 6 years ago, and then stopped making content. I think I remember him. And some people, they say all they say, and then they, you know, shut the door. Sometimes I'm like, you know, I don't know how much else I can say. And I think these live streams, these chats provide, you know, new content and new things to discuss instead of the same videos. I mean, literally, there's really not much I can say. You know, the videos I make that are like helping men, you know, get out of their loneliness or increase their finances or decrease their expenses, what have you, to improve themselves, seem to not get a lot of views. But it's when we talk about hypergamy, she's not yours, it's your turn, pre-false law, divorce, marriage, infidelity, those seem to get a lot because that seems to be the topic of most people today. Anyhow, you guys have been great. We'll see you on the next one. Peace, quiet, and freedom for 300 Trebek. Please!